Good day, grade 3. I hope you guys are doing all right and all excited for the weekend. Today we're going to do a small analysis on Yonder Mountain. I'm not going to go too much into detail as I don't want to bore you guys just before the weekend, but let's begin. So, read and comprehend, compare and contrast. When you compare characters in a story, you look for details that tell how they are like. When you contrast characters, you look for details that tell how they are different. As you read Yonder Mountain, pay attention to how the three young men in the story deal with the challenge they face. Use a chart like this one to record text evidence about these three characters and their experiences. So the big thing to remember here, guys, is compare means the same. So you're looking at details that tell how two characters are alike. Contrast, on the other hand, is different. So you're looking at how the characters are different. Let's quickly read this. Native Indian history. The Cherokee are Native Americans whose ancestors lived in the mountains and valleys of the southeastern United States. Each village was ruled by a chief. Like many cultures, the Cherokee have legends. These stories are from long ago and tell of important deeds. In a Cherokee legend called Yonder Mountain, you will read about an old chief who tests three young men to decide which one of them will replace him as leader of their people. So just a little more information for any of you guys wondering, what are Native Americans? Maybe you never heard the word before. Maybe you're wondering, what is a native? So the first people to live in a land are called indigenous people. This means they were the original settlers. The Native Americans are the indigenous peoples and cultures of the United States. So Native Americans were the first people to live in America. Compare and contrast. The legend Yonder Mountain tells the story of Chief Sky and three young men. The characters' actions contribute to the story's sequence of events. These characters and their experiences can be compared and contrasted. When you compare, you describe how two or more things are alike. When you contrast, you describe how they are different. Look back at page 474 and 475 of Yonder Mountain. In this part of the story, you find out what Chief Sky wants the three young men to do. As you read, look for text evidence about what each man finds on his journey. Notice what is the same and what is different about how each character affects the story plot. So, look back at pages 474 and 475. Let's see what Chief Sky wants the three young men to do. Here are the pages. We'll quickly read it. One day in the season of falling leaves, the chief called three young men to him and said, "One of you will take my place and become chief and lead our people. But first I must put you to the test." So the first thing is we know he called these three young men to find a new chieftain. Chief Sky turned slowly, looking into the distance. "Do you see yonder mountain?" The three young men followed the gaze of their chief and saw a great mountain rising out of the mist in the distance. "Yes," they answered, "we see the mountain." Chief Sky pointed towards the highest peak. "I want you to go to the mountain top. Bring back to me what you find there." So, what he wants the three young men to do is go to the top of the mountain, of Yonder Mountain, and bring back to him what they find there. Okay guys, so before we're done this video, we're going to try tackle the three characters and compare and contrast the three characters. Okay, compare. This is just a brief comparison. You can go into way more into detail if you want. In your own writing, when I give you homework on this is just, there's lots of different answers you guys could have given as well. But compare. They all want what's best for the village. So all the three men, none of them were evil or bad. They all wanted things that would help the village. In contrast, the first young man sought riches for the village to keep them from going hungry. So he wanted to collect those precious stones and trade them with other tribes or villages or whoever with to get food, so his village wouldn't go hungry. The second young man sought medicine for the village to keep them from getting sick. So both these young men wanted to help the village. The last young man, however, not only did exactly as the chief asked him, but also sought to help other villagers in need. So he wasn't just concerned about helping his own village, he was concerned about helping any other villages around that needed help. That's why when he saw the black smoke from another village, he rushed down and he didn't have anything in his hand because he told the chief that that other village needs help. So story message. A story like this legend is told over and over again for many years because it has an important message. The message is a lesson about life. It is not stated in the story. Instead, the characters and events help show what the lesson is. Readers can look at what happens and why it happens to learn the story message. Fantastic, guys. That's the end of the story. It was quite a short analysis, but next week we'll do a bigger one on the anchor text. I didn't really want to bore you guys. I just wanted to introduce the topic of comparing and contrast. So it's important to understand those two terms. You will get homework on this next week. So thanks, guys.